And it's Thursday.
Hmm.
There's a Chevelle driving on a tree.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Matt courageously came and picked us up in his big truck, and we got here in the snowstorm.
Yeah.
Matt courageously came and picked us up in his
what's that?
big truck.
What
and
is
we
that
got here in
from?
the snowstorm.
Yeah.
Matt,
What happened?
It's not muted. Rumble did that to us.
Rumble,
Oh, Rumble.
silly people. So people are snowed in here in Northeast Ohio,
Beautiful Northeast Ohio.
parts of Erie, Pennsylvania, and other parts of Pennsylvania, New York, upstate.
This has been going on for, what, 5 days now?
Yeah, it's been a long time. So if you're at home, just hanging out, nothing better to do. I mean, there's probably better shows on, but
I don't think so.
no, I don't think so either.
No.
So give us a watch for about the next hour.
I mean, what would you watch?
I don't know what you would watch.
What would you put in place of us?
Well, before I left home, we were watching a Mission Impossible.
Like with Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise. Yeah.
He's short, though.
He is short. Matter of fact, there was a scene with him and a girl, and I'm like, I'm sure they had to put him on a box.
Exactly. Is anybody believing?
Yes.
Is anybody believing that stuff?
Yeah.
He's short, man.
And he's a Scientologist.
He is a Scientologist.
He is a Scientologist.
But he's a good, faithful Scientologist, and he's up there in the ranks. So it's what
In the
matters.
Sea Orc, what do they call it? The Sea Orc Seox. It's got a name.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Huh.
He'll get where he wants to go eventually.
Interesting. Oh, he might. He might. Or he'll get somewhere that you might not want to be, but we'll find out. Yeah, but if you are watching tonight, make sure you let other people know if you like the content. Hit the like button, and if you get a chance and you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe.
If you don't like the content, if you think we're a bunch of dumb idiots,
Yeah,
and you want people to laugh at tell those people.
yeah, that's true.
We'll take anyone.
I would. Yeah. At this point, we would take
We
anyone.
anybody.
Yeah. Well, although we do have people like from foreign countries watching us, if you know.
We
you know
do?
that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are they spies?
They might be. But we're not talking about anything big. Other than maybe we're going to talk a little bit about this shooting that took place. So before we get into this, Matt, you just got back from a cruise.
I did. I went on a cruise.
How's that?
I would say as successful as the boat did not sink, and it did not fill with rotavirus. So
Oh, that's good.
I mean, it's got to be successful,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a good time.
Where exactly did you go? Like, where was the cruise
So
to?
we left Tampa, port of Tampa,
Okay.
and we went. You get a day at sea because they want to take your money in the casino,
Okay.
and then there was a day at Cozumel
Okay.
where they take your money there because it's a tourist trap,
Yeah.
and then a day at sea again because if you have any money left, they would like to get that from you,
Yeah.
and then we were back.
So are you saying they just want your money?
Oh, it's
Wow.
pretty apparent. But I will tell you, they did a good job. I was happy with my experience. It was Margaritaville Cruise Lines.
That was the name of the cruise line.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the story of the cruise lines where it tipped over sideways? Like he ran
Yeah.
it aground, and
Yeah.
this is that cruise lines,
Mm.
but they renamed it.
Wow. And you were okay with that? You weren't worried it was going to tip over?
I mean, bad stuff happens.
Yeah. You just make sure you stay in the middle of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you go to one side, it could.
I mean, if you're on a sandbar, how bad could it be?
Yeah, that's true. Although I think that was a long time before anybody got to them, right? That one that tipped
It
over.
took a little time. And then,
Yeah.
if you're worried about oil and otters and sea creatures,
Mm-hmm.
that was part of the problem. But
I got you.
we had nothing like that. It was.
Okay.
Where did that sail?
What's that?
Or how did it sail or where?
From Tampa to Cozumel and back. It was in the Gulf. It was funny. Okay.
So it stayed in the Gulf the whole time? You guys didn't go out?
No. So this is what's fun. The one gentleman that we were in our group that we went with, he's like, he goes, so we're just going to drive in circles, right? And I'm like, well, I never really thought about it, but I'll bet you're right. Because Tampa to Cozumel, even at, 20 knots, 30 knots,
Yeah.
for, 8, 9 hours, 10 hours, you should be able to be pretty close.
Yeah.
So we left on like a Friday evening, and we got within I don't know, a couple hundred miles of the coast, and then, yeah, the boat's just meandering around. So then I'm starting to think, like, you could wake up on a boat,
Yeah.
and as long as it's moving forward,
Right.
nothing's creepy.
Yeah.
If there's ocean all around, we could be in the middle of the Pacific. No one would know.
That's true.
You would have no idea.
That's true. That's true.
Because, you know.
Right. So you could almost be out in Lake Erie.
Yeah, we could be. Yeah, as long as you don't see, if you can't see land,
Right.
you got no way to know where you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Other stars.
Right.
But it was kind of cloudy.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, but it was great.
And there was no snow there.
No, it did get cold on the. We were trying to watch the Browns game
Mm-hmm.
at the Land Shark Bar, where they have a giant TV and a pool and a nice bar there, and we were gonna watch the Browns game, but it was 68 and windy. We lost most of the guests.
Oh wow.
Everybody went in back, and it was too cold. People were trying to grab at sweaters and.
Wow. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about a couple different things tonight. One of the things we thought we might bring up is what's going on with this shooting of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. Brandon seems to think that there's something suspicious about it. What do you think, Brandon?
I don't know. I guess they found 3 of the bullets that said deny, dispose, and something on the casings.
Were they all D words?
I don't know.
Because that takes a very intelligent person to come up with 3 D words. And you need to find that third word, Brandon, so we can figure this out. It's interesting, that
Deny, defend, and dispose.
deny, defend, and dispose. So we don't have any idea of who would be targeting this guy, but they're trying to find. They're supposedly honing in on the suspect. They think they know who the suspect is. They've got some smudged fingerprints, I guess.
They'll never find him.
Probably not.
They'll never find him.
Yeah. If they do find him, they'll find him dead, or they'll kill him, and then you'll never hear why it all happened.
How will you ever know that is the person?
I agree.
Yeah, or they'll just kill somebody. And
You, and Brandon will never know if that was actually
Right,
the person.
right. Now, as we talk like this, people would say that we're conspiracy theorists, that we don't trust the government, the officials, the FBI, all these people that are investigating this.
The person saying that would be right.
They would be right. They would be right. I just, yeah, I mean, and I haven't gone through and looked at a whole lot about the guy, but I guess United Healthcare is worth $550 billion. That's how big the company is.
that's it.
And you've got to figure, does any of this have to do with like the attack now that's on big pharma and healthcare and everything?
What attack is that you speak of, Brian?
Okay, well, some people feel like the new administration that's coming in is going to take away our right to get vaccines and drugs and all these other things, and maybe there's something going on with taking out the old healthcare system, the old division of big pharma, and bringing in something new.
Or just healthcare now is super crooked anyway.
Yeah. So so you're talking about a healthcare. You're saying in general healthcare is crooked.
I mean,
No, I know.
it costs
I know.
big money,
Yeah.
and then you're denied treatment, or your deductible's $20,000.
I know.
You gotta get your arm cut off
I know.
you know what I mean?
I told Brian, I said, listen, if you get sick, we're going to have to do something to Nathan at the same time so we can get both of you in there and pay for it all in one shot.
Right.
Because there's nowhere else around it. Well, here's the thing. Like you've got guys like RFK coming in and all these guys that are supposedly
What's his
gonna
position?
help.
Do you know?
I don't know exactly. Do you know?
Okay, so RFK thinks that Big Agra has a problem,
Yeah.
and that problem is serving us dirty food, right? Which I would agree with, or tend to agree with.
I agree with.
He is not, well, I want to say I agree with, but it depends on that's a big platform
It's all, I mean,
to stand on. He's not anti-vaccine.
No,
he's
not.
anti-COVID vaccine.
Well, I would say he's just a vaccine skeptic. I wouldn't even say he's against
Well, and
it.
he also, I think he is going to look into the autism thing. He wants to dive on the autism thing.
Yeah, but I've heard him talk in interviews
But
where he's like,
he still thinks that like the polio vaccine worked,
yeah,
right?
right,
Okay.
yeah, and he's like, I don't want to take them all away. I just want to have stringent rules against whether or not we should give out new vaccines without testing them.
Yeah.
That's, I think, where he's at. So RFK is going to oversee the Department of Health and Human Services. That's what NPR headline says as far as RFK.
So to tie this together, what about what is going on would make you want to wipe out? Who was it? Oh, he's the president,
CEO.
CEO of United Healthcare.
United Healthcare.
What would make you want to wipe him out? And do other healthcare CEOs need to worry?
Well, that's what I'm just throwing this out there for
I'm
discussion.
spitballing too.
Yeah. Because if you're going to start tearing down big pharma and agriculture and healthcare, I mean, that is a huge, obviously $550 billion business.
Or the company paying the bills, paying the this, denying coverage.
Right.
Doing this or doing, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or fighting coverage, or, I mean, it's a wonder why stuff like that happens to people, you know?
Right. One of the other guys, I don't know if you guys are familiar, I'm trying to find, I think his name's Salton. But have you heard about the guy that, I'm pretty sure his first name's Joe. Let me see if I can pull him up. Joel Salatin. He's been contacted by the Trump administration also. Let me see if I can find a better. But anyway, Joe Salatin he's the guy who owns Polyface Farms out in Virginia.
Okay.
And April and I were on vacation a few years ago. We actually went out and visited it because he's kind of created this idea of getting back to farming the way they used to do it. So you have a bunch of chickens in a field, and you have a bunch of beef cattle in this field over here. And the beef cattle, when they're done, you move them into another field, and then the chickens go in and they eat all the bugs and the stuff out of their manure, and they pretty much plow it around and all that stuff. And then it creates fertile land, and then you can plant stuff in it. And so it's this like kind of I don't know, way of agriculture that kind of works the land, helps the land be what it's supposed to be and have all the nutrients that it needs to be able to do what it does. And then it helps your animals to be, healthy and free range, and you're getting good food. So he is also being looked at, and I'm not sure if Trump has chosen him for a position
Department
yet.
of Agricultural.
I think so. Yeah, I think.
But I don't know if anybody's been chosen yet for that.
Um,
or he was chosen.
But again, I guess where I'm going with this is all these big money companies are getting attacked.
You know what you're going to hear. Do you remember the movie? It's another Tom Cruise movie where he was a lawyer and there was Jack Nicholson in there.
Okay.
And he's like, I wake up every morning to protect you. And he goes, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes, and you know why? Because you can't handle the truth.
Oh, yeah.
A Few Good Men.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's compelling. His soliloquy is compelling.
Right.
But it's basically saying sometimes we have to do the wrong thing to get the right answer. Which we know never works, right?
Right.
I mean, I would never say that is justifiable.
Right.
Well, you're gonna have people that are gonna come out against. They're gonna say, "All right, well then you're gonna watch 3/4 of the world die because we feed the world, son."
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, "Your happy little polyface, your many face farms, cannot feed the world."
Right.
This is on NBC News. Tens of thousands of people have expressed support on social media for the killing of him.
That's terrible.
Are you serious?
That's terrible.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that. Definitely something wrong with that.
We do live in that day and age, though, right?
Well, yeah, we do.
Let's ask ourselves honestly,
what was he involved in, or what was he doing, or
Yeah, there's something wrong with that. It looks like what's on the news too is this Joel Salatin is a local farming advocate. He possibly would be on the administrative advisory role of the USDA if he were to accept that role. But I'm not sure that that's going to happen. Well, we'll have to watch and see. So I guess ultimately it appears that this team that's coming in is getting ready or is looking to attack all of these government operations that have been in business for a long time and that are technically making America broke and making America sick. You're not going to do that without some kind of fight.
Yeah.
There's no way that's going to happen.
There's too much
without a
money
fight.
involved.
There's way too much money involved.
And then we're trying to make you healthy again with medical.
Exactly.
Drugs.
Yeah.
Pharma.
Yeah. And so so I don't know what's going on, but I think we need to keep our eye abreast to some of the things that are happening with all of this, because ultimately where the money trail is and where the power, you're going to find...
Where the smoke is, what do they say? Where the smoke is, there's usually a fire.
A fire, yeah.
Where the smoke is, it's probably a duck.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Well, so I was watching Glenn Beck and company talking, and they were interviewing each other about the picks that he's made so far, and who thought was a good pick where and not. And really, they all were saying, like, if you were to think of the people he's picking so far,
right,
for the different departments and things that they're supposed to run, you would say, no, there has to be somebody better.
Yeah.
Like, was Pete Hegseth really a good pick? Like, if there was 3-front war that broke out across the world,
right,
would Pete Hegseth really be the guy?
Yeah.
But then you have to ask, who would be the guy?
Well, right.
Like, I could only think of maybe Petraeus.
Yeah. Well, you know who he picked to be the advisor to Israel, right? Now I won't be able to think of his name.
Yeah. See, once you say something, it's
the guy that was on Fox, old guy. He was a pastor, and he had a show for a while. Huckabee.
Oh, Huckabee.
Yeah. Mike Huckabee. Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't know what that means. You got a Christian Zionist who's
right
going to run that whole thing, and are you guys familiar with the whole Heritage Foundation and this Project 2025 and why all the Democrats are so upset about this? Does 2025, this project, like, is it going to take away the rights of all Americans or something?
Well, I mean, one of the platforms is that you can't kill babies.
Well, I did know that, and so I was wondering why people would be upset with that. So I guess obviously the liberals would be upset, or Democrats would be upset.
Here's the thing. I heard somebody say this week. You do realize that if we boil down the big issue that they even acknowledged, because that was their advertising campaign, the big decision that you were to make was, am I allowed to kill my child or not?
Right. Right.
That's how, because from their own advertising, that's what they were worried about.
Yeah. And if that's not demonic,
right, exactly.
If that's not Baal and the god of Molech of the Old Testament, I don't know what is.
It's like, even if you, there's nothing you can say to justify the point of view. I mean, even if you gave up the rape and incest in an argument,
right.
What could possibly be your argument for the rest of it? Right.
Kirk was in an interview, and a young lady was asking him about whether or not the government should have the right to tell the states what to do. And, of course, the answer to that is no, the states should be able to decide. And then she nailed him, and she said, but you would be okay if the federal government came down with a law that said abortion was wrong no matter what in any state.
For everybody.
Yeah, and he's like, well, yeah. Now, here's the thing. Okay, so granted, Kirk's answer is, yeah, I'd be okay with that. Why? Because it's immoral to kill and to murder anyone. I mean, we have mandates, federal mandates that you can't murder, and that goes to the locals.
Sure.
You can't have a state that decides that it's okay to murder people. You're not going to do that.
Well, it's the thing. Why is it okay to not call it anything other than a baby? We can call it a fetus, a cells, a clump of this, or that, or the other thing.
Right.
It's not real.
Right.
Da, 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 da. But if that woman were to be in a car accident somebody caused,
Yeah.
they would be charged with manslaughter for 2 people.
Right. Right.
Or if somebody shot the woman,
Yep.
they would be caught for a murder of 2 people.
Yep.
How is that loophole still existent?
Exactly. And just so you know, they're starting to move away from the word fetus because they've been informed that the word fetus comes from the Latin, which means offspring, and so now they know that that's not a word that they can use.
That's really gonna do. If
So-
you're in an abortion clinic, that's bad.
Well, it is. So now the only thing they can use is
Do you know
clump of
why?
cells or whatever. Why?
Because you put in your sign when you walk in, like
Yeah.
"Happy Days Abortion Clinic, no fetus can beat us." You know, you can't use that anymore.
You can't.
It's got to be done.
That's yeah. Have you seen that, or did you
No,
just
it's
no?
a fun thing I like to say.
You made that up. That's
No
good.
fetus can beat us.
That's good.
I actually got that from my buddy Mike in Florida. I
gotcha.
got to give him the shout out.
All right. Well, hopefully Mike's watching.
He's not.
And he's not. All right. So I think we probably, maybe in weeks to come.
Are we
or
going to
months
see more
come-
people dying?
Well, I don't know if we'll see more people dying, but I do think there's going to be a war on, because, again, with all this money and all these government organizations that are in power, these guys are not going to walk in there January 6th and start making changes, and somebody's not going to go, hey, wait a minute, this can't happen. It's just not going to be...
He's back to the money thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be possible. So either they're going to make the changes and people are going to be really upset and you're going to see some really big stuff happening.
That's what I'm saying. How many people are we going to want to die?
Yeah.
Or what if they change something? You know how things are. Like when they're established and moving, and under the cloak of everyday life, everything's normal. But as soon as something changes in that plan, you become exposed.
Right.
So how many people are going to be exposed? Like, so they were debating. The real goal would be to get rid of the whole Department of Education as a federal. It's not supposed to be there. It's
Right.
not in the Constitution.
Right.
Shouldn't be there as a federal department.
Right.
If they were able to remove it, like, do you know how many jobs and offices and bureaucratic paper pushing people are going to
Right.
go away?
Right.
Even if they cut it, so they were surmising that they're not going to be able to get rid of it. They won't be able to get the votes, but what they'll do is they'll turn it into basically a grant passing outing institution that gives grants to the different states, and that's all they do. Because what that'll do is, even if the Democrats win another presidency, and they want to put the Department of Education back the way it was, now you get the states addicted to the money that gets passed out in grants, and now they'll be fighting it. Now the states and the people will fight it, because they're going to try and make it. Basically, the idea is they'll make a system that people do like, that is run by the states, and they were also going to really push for this. What do you call it? Where you can go to any school you want to. School choice. What do they call that?
Oh, something backpack, right? No?
No, the idea that you can go to any school that you want to. Anyway,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
but they're going to make that a thing. School choice. That's
School
what they're called.
choice, yeah.
School choice. They're going to promote school choice. They'll have block grant writing from the federal government to the states for however they qualify for how they're doing as a state. Right? You have to show that your students are doing well, and the more well they do, the bigger the grant they can shove them. Okay? So all that does is make the state try and do better and work harder to educate the students.
Right.
And they won't be able to get rid of that then. Once people like that system, if they get back into office, they won't be able to put it back the way it was. There'll be a system in place that people like.
Right.
Is the theory. So, but like you're going to tick people off
Yeah.
changing that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
People getting paid.
Right.
People who make things happen for people they know.
Right. Right. So even like this guy that's coming in taking the FBI, he did have a position with Trump last time somewhere in the government. I can't remember exactly where. But the guy that's coming in to possibly head up the FBI, he's already talking with Tucker Carlson about the idea of, oh yeah, we're gonna open this whole Epstein thing, and people are gonna get prosecuted for this, and blah blah. And I'm looking at this whole thing, and I'm going, okay, so you got Biden who just pardoned his son from everything that he's doing. Now, again, yeah, I think everybody has some crookedness that's going on here, but you've got all these old, videos and pictures of back in the day when Trump was hanging out at parties with Epstein. There's a lot of people that were involved with Epstein. Do we really believe that whoever's this guy's coming in with the head of the FBI, they're not going to look at this list and they're not going to go, yeah, let's push that one to the side. Nobody's going to see that one.
I think
nobody's going to.
I think that decision already would have been made
From the FBI
to say something
that has it.
Like that guy wouldn't have said anything. People already have the books. They already have. They just haven't released it to the public.
Right.
I think if Trump was on the Epstein thing, they would already use that
Exactly.
on him.
They would have already
really?
hung it. Yes.
You think? But they haven't used it on Bill.
That's coming.
Well, yeah, it's coming, but they haven't used it yet.
Elon is talking about it.
What, the Bill Clinton on the Epstein stuff?
No, Bill Gates.
Oh, he's on Epstein too. I'm talking about Bill Clinton though. All those guys, none of those guys have been outed
Yeah,
yet.
but what are you going to do with Bill Clinton? He's
Nothing.
He's an 80-year-old.
I know.
He's not part of anything anymore.
I know. What about Barack? Was he on it?
Probably.
You think gay people went there?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably.
Pretty sure.
He was not happy with Big Mike.
I don't think so.
He needed to go to an island.
I don't think so. Man, I don't know if you could look this up. I don't know if I sent this to you guys or not, but Michael Knowles did a show, and he's been doing a lot of shows. This whole Catholic push on spiritual stuff. But Brandon, you might have sent this to me, but I think I just stumbled upon this. But he's interviewing this guy that said that he sees angels and demons.
I think I watched this.
It's called Michael and the Seer. And this guy believes that he's a seer, meaning he can see into the spiritual realm. So here's, I just got one thing to say about it. Yeah, you can pull this up. We'll watch a little bit of it. One of the things that's interesting is Michael Knowles is talking to this guy, and he's asking him, he says, well, what do you see right now? And the guy goes, oh, well, I can see your angel standing right behind you on your left side. And Michael Knowles kind of looks like, oh, wow, that's pretty powerful. I'm like, seriously?
Listen,
I could sit here and go, Matt, I see an angel. Nobody else can see it anyway.
So you watched that one. Did you watch him interview the smartest guy in the world?
No, I did not.
Oh, that's a good one.
Is it?
Yeah, that's a great one.
All right, I'll try and look at that one.
And they sit there and they smoke cigars and stuff.
Okay.
And actually, he gives the case that you have to believe there's a God. He goes through
the smartest guy in the world does.
Yes, and the smartest guy in the world is not. All right. Yeah, I want you to see what he looks like.
All right, pull it up. But I was thinking too,
because these are really great interviews.
Yeah, because I don't know if we can do some we can springboard off of some of the stuff I'm going to do here after the first of the year on spiritual warfare. But I know Brandon's been wanting to get into that, and there's a lot of stuff on these podcasts, spiritual warfare. Sean Ryan's got a lot of guys he's been bringing on talking about spiritual warfare.
Yeah, but you didn't like him as Catholic.
What's that? No, Sean Ryan's not Catholic.
No, the one guy he brought on.
Oh, that's true. I did.
What about Eddie
Catholic
Penny?
priest.
I haven't heard anything on him.
I haven't. I think his podcast just kind of died out.
That's the smartest guy in the world.
Oh wow! And you know why I think it died out, Brandon?
Why is he not thin?
I think because he's
Christian.
I think he's serious about Jesus.
Yeah,
I really do.
Why is the smartest guy in the world not thin?
Well, because he knows that it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You think?
Yeah. He's a farmer in Missouri.
You think he's got insulin resistance?
A little bit. I think he might have a little bit. I mean, his gut would indicate that he does.
All right. Okay. All right. Do you want to pull up a clip or something? Do you like a clip there of what he's saying?
I can't remember. Well, he does a whole thing of why there's a God. You just,
They probably got it time-stamped.
logically.
And that guy sees the demons.
No, not that guy. Michael Knowles is the interviewer. He's Catholic, too. I say that with such love and compassion. But you want me to? Let me see. Yeah, I bet you. Yeah, see, they gotta have it time stamped. IQ. Right there? Does God exist? We'll watch that real quick. Let's do it. We'll have to stop it every few minutes so we don't get in trouble for whatever plagiarism or whatever's happening.
I don't know why it's not coming through.
We got no sound coming in. This is why we need that black magic board.
You're giving them advertisement. We never even used it yet.
I know. I shouldn't. We don't have any.
Black magic board
That black magic is the
or the Ouija board?
no, not the Ouija board. We're not playing with that. What we do need is we need to see. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
What? How did we get to a TED Talk?
I don't know. You still don't got no volume though. Why would you not have volume? That doesn't even make sense. Huh.
Did you ever see that guy that could read?
Well, as soon as I do that, it goes to a different video.
Can read what?
I'll show you. He's the fastest. He's the fastest reader in the world.
No. Huh?
I'm trying to see, like, even if we wanted to do the seer video, would it be on there? Oh, we lost our viewers. They're all gone.
We did lose all of our viewers?
No, we still got the one on Rumble.
I'll show you this, bro.
That's because our stuff's... We're too slow.
We got weak sauce. Weak sauce. Let's see if I gotta put it. Is somebody watching a Mexican do something?
Huh?
Is somebody watching a Mexican do something?
Brandon is. I tell you what.
Its eyes flashed again, and again I had that overwhelming.
Okay, that video is not the same as the...
So this guy, he's the fastest reader in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'd see angels and demons in about equal measure.
Alright, we're picking a topic. Yeah, but okay, wait a minute. He's the fastest reader in the world. but why does him speaking it?
We're gonna pull it up here. It's hilarious. He's not really reading nothing.
No, but he's auditioning for this stuff, and that's real.
Oh. All right, so what do we got here, Matt? Is this the smartest guy in the world yet?
No. So the angels and demons guy, it's not broken up like that.
No?
No.
That's stupid. You know, Michael Knowles really has to get better people working his YouTube stuff.
You're just mad at him because he's Catholic.
I am. I'm really not big on it.
Zoe likes him, though.
Really?
A lot.
You know who else I've noticed been doing a lot of interviews, Catholic stuff, is Tucker Carlson. He's been doing a lot of religious. A lot of these podcasters, this is what's freaking me out a little bit. These podcasters on the conservative side have been doing a lot of religious
For
stuff.
this first interview.
And so what are they trying to do? They're trying to pull people into a
For this first.
a one world religion type thing. I think you need to be careful, people. Don't get sucked into that.
CTMU, IQ. Okay. Does God exist?
I don't know.
Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
And breadth here. If we're talking about a theory of everything, the first question we have to establish, does God exist?
Yes.
Simple as
Yes.
that.
Well, it's the identity has the reality has an identity. Okay? The identity is that as which something exists. Okay? Matter of fact, when you say the word reality, you're naming an identity. You're identifying something. This.
I'm smiling because your answer on this is so beautiful. It just reminds me of Moses at the burning bush. And Moses at the burning bush says, "Who shall I tell the people that you are?" Talking to God. And God says, "Tell them I am that I am."
That's right.
I am identity itself. I'm being himself.
That's exactly right. And that's what the CTMU says. It just comes up with the mathematical structure that you need to build a reality out of that. You see? So you come up with that identity, and then you search it for its properties. You see, once you've built the preliminary framework, then you start deducing the properties of this identity, and you find out that those properties match those of God as described in most of the world's major religions. Right?
Just the theistic religions? So I'm thinking Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, or are you talking also of, say...
Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, Vedism. Of course, Hinduism and Vedism, they have a God. Taoism, their central principle is the way, or the Tao, okay? And they don't see Tao as
He's
as
not the
God.
smartest guy in the world.
And then in Buddhism, of course, you've got, they are trying basically to achieve sunyata, or emptiness, right? Which is, most Buddhists, a lot of Buddhists don't even understand what that's supposed to mean. But once again, there's no God there. You can kind of read God implicitly. Some Buddhists, I've talked to Buddhists who actually think that there is a God in Buddhism of a sort. But it's, that concept of pure consciousness is what it is, okay? And if you ask them, well, whose consciousness are you talking about? They will point at themselves and say, my consciousness. In a way, they kind of attribute the existence of everything to themselves. Okay?
I know I've known a lot of people in Hollywood and Washington, D.C. who do the same thing, actually.
Well, that's right. That's why Buddhism is very fashionable among some of those people.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
So yes. But anyway, when you look at what they've all got, you come down to the same thing. All right? Everybody has the Tao, or the way, that's the way reality works, right? And everybody, has sunyata, which is pure syntax, right? Pure cognition with no instantiation, no content, right? And then you've got what the Abrahamic religions call God. It's all the same thing, okay? But what are its properties? Okay, are its properties such that you can deny the existence of God, or are its properties such that God definitely has to exist? And the answer is, God exists.
God definitely
the
has
properties of the central substance and central principle of reality, those properties are attributed to God, including, of course, things like you have the three O's: omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence, but then you've also got consciousness. God has to be sentient.
So we're not just defining God out of existence. Sometimes you'll hear people say God exists, but they'll give God such a weak...
So there you go. God has to exist.
That's interesting.
Just on the principle. So like all that happened right there was atheism died. That's all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of...
So as the smartest guy in the world, though, don't you think he would at least see the illogical idea that all these religions...
Well, that's not what they're talking... But see, that's not what they're talking about. They're just talking about...
a sentient being.
Is there a God or not a God?
Right.
And
But he said they're the same. So Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity.
Well,
Islam,
they're all the same in that they have to have a God.
They have to have a God. I thought he was making the argument that they're all the same God. And they can't be, logically.
I think that they're just talking about, is there a God or not a God?
Okay, so some kind of sentient, conscious personality or person that exists.
And the answer to that is there must be.
Yeah, outside of space and time.
Outside of space and time.
Okay, I can handle that.
Who has the right God? That's not the question they're talking about.
Gotcha.
I think that's why Michael Knowles isn't losing his crap. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because he's obviously Christian.
Yeah. Well, because
So-
well, see, that's what's interesting, though. He asked the question, are you just talking about the theistic religions? And I would even argue that. He said Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, and I would even argue that Judaism and Islam is worshiping a different God.
Well, I think you would go as far to say the Catholicism is really a different God.
I would. But he said, he made that question, and the most intelligent guy in the world said, no, I'm talking about they're all the same.
Right.
So I'm just kind of wondering if I get in his head what he thinks. Like if he logically thinks that it's possible for all of these religions to have different ideas about who this God is and the characteristics and the properties of this God, and then still say that he's the same, or is he just saying exactly what you said?
Right.
There's this sentient, personal being that exists outside of space and time.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then yeah, that's cool. So I'm challenging the smartest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're calling him out.
I am calling him out.
You'd have to go to Missouri to his farm.
Wow. Maybe.
Yeah, check out that interview.
I will.
It
I'll
is
watch
interesting.
I'll watch it. All right.
All right, so do we want the demons guy?
Yeah, the seer. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's watch.
Here's the bad thing about this is I don't know where you want.
Well, it's within like the first probably 4 minutes or so where he does. Yeah, we can just watch like the first opening part of that. There.
Here we go. This is the guy who sees the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
Measure. There was this sense of separation, and even though I could identify that's something that might be scary, there wasn't any sense of immediate danger. I looked up, and instead of my mom, I saw this kind of shadow. As soon as I looked at it,
you could probably go
kind of
past
slumped into the crack. Walked.
Yeah, that's probably past.
I was like, oh, okay.
Why is everyone spiraling
Oh
over
my
YouTube running ad
goodness.
blockers? Like,
Ads.
chill, guys. Just use Pi. It's a free Chrome extension that's actually
chill.
made by one of the
Let's
founders of
skip it.
Honey, and it basically
This must just be my imagination. It wasn't really until I was about 9 that my relationship with the things that I saw changed, and I started to realize that there was something out of the ordinary.
So how did it change?
Well, so as I mentioned, I'd see angels and demons in about equal measure. And even though I could tell that demons would look kind of scary looking, they would be, kind of scraggly, skinny, gray-skinned sort of creatures that had sharp teeth that would look kind of, frightening.
Sounds
variety of ways they
alien.
would look,
With
but
nasty,
they always
sharp,
looked a little bit
pointy
scary.
teeth.
It was scary in the way of when you would see maybe a tiger at a zoo or something scary on the television. There was this sense of separation, and even though I could identify that's something that might be scary, there wasn't any sense of immediate danger. But when I was 9, one evening when I was at home, that experience completely changed. I remember it so vividly. My mom had just tucked me in and put me in bed. And she walked out of the room, closed the door, left it open just a crack. And I could see her walking back and forth and her shadow disturbing the light that was coming into the room. And one moment it stayed dark and I thought my mom was coming to check on me. And so I looked up, and instead of my mom, I saw this just kind of shadow standing there. It was just the basic silhouette of a person. And it slunk, as soon as I looked at it, it's kind of slunked into the crack, walked around to the edge of my bed.
Does this sound familiar to you, Brandon?
And it kind of had these milky white eyes that were in approximately the space that its head would have been. And as soon as it got to the foot of my bed, its eyes flashed, and I felt this overwhelming sense of fear. It was as if someone had just suddenly electrified me with the feeling of fear, just running up and down my body. I felt like I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Just this
So I just asked him. He said,
panic was going through my body, and I was locked in that space for some amount of time. I don't really know how long it was, but eventually I was able to kind of move my shoulders a little bit and build up enough momentum that I was able to roll down on my face. And once I kind of broke eye contact with it, I was able to fall asleep.
Is that sleep paralysis there?
So I woke up the next morning. The shadow was gone. That feeling of fear was gone. But I went throughout my normal day at school and things like that. I saw the same type of, demonic and angelic things that I would see typically throughout a day. And I thought, well, I guess that was just a weird, vivid nightmare or something like that. But then when I came back to bed that night, that shadow was standing at the foot of my bed. It waited there as my mom put me to bed. And then as soon as she walked out of the room, its eyes flashed again. And again, I had that overwhelming sense of fear. And this led into a period of about 3.5 years where every single night I would see all kinds of horrible demonic imagery of varying types, stuff from the worst horror movie, which is something that my parents definitely wouldn't have allowed at that time. So it was new things that I was seeing, and it happened night after night after night for 3.5 years.
You were seeing these atrocities.
Yeah. Again, I don't. It's something I don't mind talking about, but I always try to not overemphasize it because as life goes on, it becomes a smaller and smaller part of my story. But to give a few examples, sometimes I would see kind of a hideous demonic version of a person. It would be pulling its face apart and putting it back together in weird sort of ways. I would see hands coming up out of from under my bed and kind of pawing around like they were looking for something to scratch or pinch or something like that. I would sometimes see small crawling black things all along my walls. And, you know, I grew up in a Christian family, and so, but I realized, of course, at this point that something was wrong, you know, but based on the context of what I had decided that either the devil had decided to ruin my life or I was just going crazy. And
We stop
was
it there
really
for a second.
scared to tell my parents either of those possibilities because I didn't know what the consequences of that might be. And so,
Brandon, can you explain to us what he's seeing or what he's doing?
I don't know. I mean, maybe a demon. But he's saying he can depict by looking at them what they are, and
I guess
I would think something could be in sheep's clothing too. You know,
Mm-hmm. Like look like a good angel, supposedly.
I would think.
Yeah.
it just sounds like a kid with an imagination.
He kind of does like I think I've seen probably stuff that I thought was shadows when I was a kid too, but I guess the whole shadow at the foot of your bed with the eyes. So when you had that experience, Brandon, what did that thing look like? Like, can you explain it to us? Like, is it similar to what he thought he was seeing?
Yeah, my eyes were like maybe like this, kind of yellow. They
Yellow.
weren't white. They were like kind of yellowish.
But you could see eyes in this thing.
Maybe
Yeah.
Brandon's had a liver problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
jaundice.
John,
I was actually sober that night.
no, your black thing. His eyes were yellow. His liver wasn't working.
Goodness, that's funny. But it did have eyes of some sort,
Yeah.
and then it just vanished.
Yeah, it was like it's almost like the famous Bigfoot look, you know.
Yeah, just turned and looked, and then
Yeah.
gone.
Gone.
It's probably because it
But it
saw
was
that cat. Tall,
it was
big.
7 foot,
Wow.
6, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Wow. And you never see anything like that since.
No, but I get little.
Spooked.
No, I get little hints of stuff here and there. Like you'll see something like that through the house or whatever.
You ever think that's just like your eye catching like a blur from something, like a light catching like a? Because sometimes I'll see stuff like that too, and I chalk it up as I turn my head a little too fast and my eye didn't catch a glimpse.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
You see it as something that was there running through.
kind of, yeah.
Huh, interesting.
I had something happen weird, maybe 8 months or a year ago. Because we have a sheet for the bathroom door right now because we
Yeah.
have no doors in the house.
Right.
So we're remodeling.
The sheet.
Yeah, sheet. You know what I mean?
There was no like fan blowing.
No,
And the dog didn't go through it, obviously.
no, but the dog was looking. You know what I mean?
Like the dog
Like
saw
down
it.
the hallway there.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was a cat. Like the cat's tail sometimes will take it.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like the sheet came out
Yeah.
and the cats.
Let's just go with that.
Yeah, we could.
Well,
run
all the
with that.
cats were in the living room. You know
Dang
what I
it.
mean?
Darn it, dang
Yeah.
it.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like now I'm comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and I think we might have brought this up a while back, and I don't know who the old timer was, but it was like one of those old, back in the 1800s or whatever, Christian men. Supposedly, he got out of bed one night because he
Yeah.
heard something in his house.
And I think I don't know if, I think you had let me borrow that book.
Did I? Did you read it? Read through it?
I think I read through half of it, and I don't know if I think I still have it, or it might be here, or
Okay.
I might have returned it. 'Cause
Okay.
it's an older little one.
It
right?
is, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, he got up in the middle of the night. Supposedly, he took his lantern, went out, saw it was a demonic entity, and then he was so confident in his faith, he was like, "Oh, it's just you," and he turned around and went back and went to bed. Like, to me, you got to have some serious faith
Testicles.
not to worry about that. Like, okay, so they exist, because let's face it, right now there are spiritual entities warring in this room. We just can't see it. It's in a realm. and you know if there's good, there's also evil. They were in the garden, the most perfect place you could have, and there was an evil entity in the garden tempting them. So we know they're here.
That's what I kind of struggle with now is because I always pray like for the protection of my home and stuff, and even the land, you know, like the boundaries, and I look at it as like
I agree.
hedge of protection. And,
I agree.
But that stuff could still come through there.
Yeah, I mean, if God wanted it to, yeah.
If God wants it to, yeah. I mean, whether I probably pray for it or not, but it's you know, stuff passing through my house, it could. I mean, even though I pray for that, against that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're you know, I think we're safe, but it's like that's just to and fro.
Yeah, well, God could allow like something to come in and someone to get sick, right? Or something to happen,
Or
like the porch to catch on fire.
right.
You know, something weird like that happening.
And I find that part weird, but now I'm not like too freaked out about it.
Yeah, and I think that's key.
And that's the whole lantern thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. So I've been.
it's spooky.
It is spooky. It can be spooky. Yeah. I think.
I don't want to see anything like this.
No, I know you don't, Matt. You like this conversation though.
I'll listen to it.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Matt. Like when you're at home and you're in prayer, do you ever think about praying over your home and your kids
I do all the time.
for spiritual protection?
I do all the time.
Okay, all right.
I pray that God has his hand on my house, our lives,
Yeah.
and protects us from
Okay.
evil at every turn.
All right. Do you ever pray that God would put a hedge of protection around you?
I don't use those words.
Oh, that's good because a hedge is kind of a small, dinky thing. I mean, you think anybody could get through a hedge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say like a big metal.
God, could you put a castle of protection
yeah,
around
something
me
with-
with a moat,
Right, and armed angels.
then a fence with concertina wire?
Yeah.
I kind of do a weird. I actually like walk my lot lines. You know.
Like on a daily basis or just every so
on
often?
a date. Yeah, every so often.
Yeah.
And that's kind of weird, but
No, I don't think it's weird.
I don't think it's weird.
it's like I want my little our
Yeah.
little nook to be
Yeah.
sweet as it can be.
And it should be. That should be a refuge for you.
Yeah.
It should be where you come. And then when you go out, you got to realize that you're entering into the enemy's camp.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you go to work on Monday morning, you're entering into the enemy's camp.
Right. But I wonder why like stuff can go pass through, you know, my house and stuff like that. And maybe my house isn't the sweetest yet. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't think, like, even Jesus himself had demons, you know, tempting him, working against him.
All around him.
There's got to be a...
There's there's moments in my house that things happen. Like if I'm home alone, then I'm like, I don't know what that was,
Really?
but I don't go looking for it.
Okay.
I'm like, a cup fell down. Who cares? I'm not gonna go find out.
That's
Yeah.
spooky, dude.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
go
I'm
look.
saying. Do you?
When I hear something in the basement, I go down and check it out.
Do you?
And funny thing is that I have some, like, weaponry. I always go down with nothing.
Yeah.
And then when I come up, I always got this weird feeling that even though I checked everything out and there was absolutely nothing, somehow a large human found a way to hide in the very smallest of cracks down there.
Yeah.
And is going to chase me up the stairs and kill me, right? So because I always think more human. Like my mom used to say this. She's like, my mom, and I thought this was a pretty good saying. People would be like, "Oh, I'd be afraid to walk through the graveyard at night." And my mom would always say, "It's not the dead you have to be concerned about; it's the living."
See, I think it's reverse.
Yeah, and so
The living don't freak me out very much.
Yeah, well,
Like
no.
someone breaking in the house,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, or the dogs are gonna eat you, or
right.
but the non-living is more freaky to me.
Yeah. See, I don't know. Maybe my mom just had a confidence that, because some of those older people, they just weren't afraid of that. Like they didn't. I don't know. The older generation was different. Like I think even when it came to the spiritual stuff.
It's like we were talking a few weeks ago. Okay, think about the hills of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we have to go back 100 years.
Right.
Okay, if you didn't have a car,
Yeah.
and you didn't have like flashlights like we have now,
Right.
but you would go to people's houses.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you do that?
You walk.
Walk on trails
Walk
in the
through the
woods.
woods,
Walk
yeah.
through the woods.
Yeah.
That's rough.
If you told me to head this way through the woods tonight,
Yeah.
I would say drop dead. I'll take my car. I'll meet you over there. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I agree with you. There was a different mindset, but at the same time, and that so you have the headless horseman, Ichabod Crane.
Yeah,
But you have these stories from
Right.
those types of. That's what they got around.
Yeah.
But what is interesting, like about our bodies, is our sensory. Like you pick up on, like the eeriness and the hair will stand. Like
Yeah, and then I agree. Like I'll be the first one to get freaked out.
There's something to that.
I want to have such a solid faith though that like as I'm walking through there, I understand. Yes, there's evil all around me, but I've got a God who's stronger than that, and He can take care of it. And there's got to
Well,
be.
I'm
a
gonna borrow
confidence.
that. Like, if I ever do see the black thing with the white eyes, I'll be like, oh, it's just you.
Yeah,
It's
and
great.
then just go back to bed.
Yeah.
So there've been times like you
Hey,
know.
close the fridge when you're done.
Yeah, right. Get some, yeah. Eat all those carbs in there.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get insulin resistance.
Yeah.
So, like, this is probably going to sound really weird, but for years, when I would come up the stairs from the basement, any basement, it doesn't matter. If I was by myself,
No, basements are scary.
you'd always get this weird feeling that something's coming up after you, right? Always have the weird feeling. One day I was walking
Do you
up.
think that's because basements are in the ground?
Oh, maybe. Might be. But I'll tell you this, though. One day I just decided to go like this in my head. I was like, you know what? I am the Lord's. And if whatever it is would want to kill me, that's fine because I'm still the Lord's. And all of a sudden, I had like a peace. And now I don't, like, I mean, yes, there's been times where I'll get this kind of chill and I'll be like, but I don't walk upstairs anymore like freaked out whether someone's behind me or whether there's some kind of entity wanting to drag me back down, you know, from a scary movie that wants to kill me or something. I don't even think about it anymore. And I know that probably sounds silly for a 52-year-old, you know, grown man, but these are things where as boys you grow up and the movies and media and everything, they want us to be afraid of these things. They want people to be afraid of that dark side. And God says that in Him there's salvation and there's life and there's truth, and you don't have to be afraid of it. You know it exists. You don't have to be afraid of it. And
You'll be that guy in the basement with your flashlight's perfect, and then it's and you're tapping it.
I know. It's interesting. So I think as we get ready here in the next few weeks to get into the spiritual warfare series on Sundays, I think we will start taking a good look here on the show at some spiritual warfare stuff.
I think that's like what really helped me get grounded.
Yeah.
It's like understanding that and learning that.
Yeah.
Because it's not really taught.
No, I agree. And I think what's going on today, whether it's with the new administration coming in and all the stuff we talked about earlier, like some changes that are going to be happening, like what's all that going to look like as far as evil, you know, and what kind of things are going to take place. And then a lot of this religious stuff that's happening with all these different people that supposedly are in love with Jesus, but yet are holding on to New Age spiritualism and that. Like, is there a lot more behind the scenes that's moving this stuff? And I think if we're in any kind of end time scenarios, we would know for sure that there's some demonic activity going on, obviously, in that. And so maybe we can pick some of that apart too. Because I think it's important that people know. Like, I think it's important that people know that the music industry, you can't trust everybody in the Christian music industry. It's important that people know.
I think it is.
Right?
Yeah.
It's important that people know that you can't trust everybody who says, hey, Jesus is my Lord and Savior. You know, whether it's a pastor or whether it's a Russell Brand.
I guess that's... I don't think I can trust everybody at this church.
I hear you.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I don't want to think those things or say those things, but
No, I hear you.
everything needs to be put up against the truth,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Everything needs to be held against the truth.
Yep.
And that's just really where we are.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
And we need, somehow we need to be able to use the truth like a sword, because it is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Ephesians chapter 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. So you guys tell me this. Maybe we can close out with this tonight. But the other night I was reading on some spiritual warfare stuff, just kind of prepping some things, getting ready for the next few weeks to come. And I don't know if it was because I was reading on it the night before, but I don't remember really having any dreams. But I remember waking up. And when I woke up that morning, probably about 5:30, I rolled out of bed, and the first thing that came to my head was, if you want to, one of the first defenses against allowing spiritual demonic forces to influence you or to have power or control over you is disobedience or sin in your life, unrepentant sin in your life. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Because like if you go back into the Old Testament, a lot of times God would say, listen, if you obey me, you'll be blessed. A lot of good things will happen in your life. You disobey me, you're cursed. You're going to be on your own. Life's going to suck, and things are going to go bad, and you're going to go into slavery for years. You come into the New Testament, obviously we have Jesus, but the same principle applies. You can live your life following Jesus, and you can be blessed. Doesn't mean life's going to be perfect.
Say that again one more time, what you thought of.
The first thing I thought of when I rolled out of bed is that opening the door to demonic attack or even demonic temptation and influence that could affect your life to where you could fall short and fall into those things is unrepentant sin in your life. Like if you're doing something that you know is sinful and you're not turning from that.
I think that's part of it.
I think it's
but like no prayer. I think the devil advances.
Yeah,
all that.
I think there's a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to hone in on that because I don't think, because obviously we can all be tempted. Jesus was perfect and he was tempted.
Mine's the busyness. Like I'll get so busy and I want to just spend 40 minutes to myself and not think.
And look at like cars
and
or
look at car
YouTube
parts or YouTube or junk.
Yeah.
And I think that is like
it is
a trick.
It's a trick.
I've been trying to get away from that too, and I've been struggling.
and like this, it's not like I'm looking at porn all night or something like that. I'm doing something that's worldly harmless.
Right.
But it's not.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I'm trying to figure out the way to really phrase that well, because I don't think if you have unrepentant sin that you're going to be tempted more or that you're opening necessarily a door. I mean, I think you've already opened up a door. You've already accepted the fact that you can let sin reign in your life if you're unrepentant and you're sinning. But I'm just wondering how you're affected with the demonic realm if there's unrepentant sin. I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to wonder how that might work.
You're causing your own problems.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like, whenever I know I'm in a place where I shouldn't be, I notice that God's not there. If I really think about it, when I'm where I should be, I feel like I can reach out and ask him a question, and I know that he's there. I don't know how to tell you that I know that he's there. It's not like he's touching me or whatever. I know I'm where I should be, and I'm doing what I should be doing. It takes a moment when I'm doing things that I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And when I think about it, I go, "You're not here, are you?" And that almost is frightening.
Oh yeah.
And you realize you're in a place where I almost think that like they set you on that. You're like a spinning top, and they get you spinning, and then they walk away.
Yeah.
They have other things to do.
Yeah.
They have other people that you can go talk in the ear stuff.
Yeah.
And it isn't until I stop spinning and I go, I'm not where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. So I wonder if it would be. I wonder if it would be right to say that if you're living in unrepentant sin, then you've already allowed demonic influence to rule your life.
I think so. I don't see why that's not fair to say.
Because Jesus said you have one of two masters, either him or the other big one downstairs. All right.
And then, like, is it? I'm drinking all the coffee. You want
Do
some
it.
coffee?
Take it all. Some of us got to get up in the morning.
I need to find some True Norse.
Well, you can't find them. Well, you can probably find them, but they're expensive, huh? Matt, you were going to say something? Finish us off with a thought?
Well, I don't remember where I was going.
It's too much coffee.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So we'll just do this on the show, I guess. We're going to get some sponsors, I think, here in the next couple months.
Probably.
I think we should find some sponsors.
Wait, no. We're gonna get some sponsors.
Yeah.
And I think we should find some sponsors.
See, this positive
Those are
thinking.
two different statements.
So positive thinking was we're going to get some. And then I'm like, listen, we got to find them, but we're going to get them. And I don't know who they're going to be, but we're going to get some sponsors.
Well, let's find low dollar sponsors that don't have money either.
We need some heavy pipe hitters.
Some heavy pipe hitter.
Yeah. And we got to get back to doing our commercials. Where's that video of you sitting on that chair over there going, hey? You know?
don't remember.
You remember that?
Yeah.
That was fun.
Well, maybe as we get into black
contact.
magic,
Mm-hmm.
maybe as we delve more into black magic, we'll do things
Okay.
like this.
All right. You're saying that because you are like, yeah, like if we'll ever really get it.
Well, when I say it, it sounds bad, like we're trying to get into black magic.
Oh, yeah. It's not the black.
Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that a media center, a tool designed to get a message out, is called black magic?
Yeah, it is. But
Interesting.
yeah, it is interesting.
How come it's not called
White magic.
faith spreader,
Yeah.
word of God
Lights.
enabler?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Gospel impartment.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Of course, none of those names sound as good as black
They
magic.
don't. We're gonna have to promote more because we don't get a lot of followers on Thursday nights. So we're gonna start announcing on Sundays that we're on Thursday nights.
You know what I'm starting to wonder, Brian, because I keep getting this stupid message that the connection's not great. If the YouTube is like,
yeah, people are just gonna
and people are
jump
just
on.
like jump on off.
All right. Well, we'll have to ask some questions and find out some things. Do you guys like Thursday nights or no?
I wanted to come, and I just got back yesterday at midnight.
Okay. I just wonder though, is it good for us? Is it better than Fridays? Like even like
It's
for
definitely better on
all-
Fridays.
it's better on Friday.
Yeah, Fridays I want to do those things that make Jesus leave me.
So it's better to get this in.
Yeah, let's get
than
this
you.
in.
It kind of helps.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
That way I can come back around on.
We do have to make an appointment on a Friday to go see dude.
See you, dude. All right.
See a dude about a thing.
About a thing.
About that.
This is Big Lebowski.
Know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I also know too. We got Dan Cartwright. We're gonna get him on here.
Oh yeah, I like that guy.
And then that's the pastor out of Garrettsville. We're gonna try and get him on here one night. And
Yeah,
then,
he was supposed to put down some serious stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna hit him up. We'll get him on spiritual
do it.
warfare. And then Becky Rapaski. And would you guys be interested?
She's
then
not coming.
Yeah, she'll come next. Then maybe next week. We'll see.
Trying to get the mayor sharding. It's ridiculous.
I know. And she's
She's always going to respond, I'm too busy.
I know. And here's the other thing, though. I think with her and other people, I think we need to start bringing on more guests. Don't you? Or no?
I'm fine. I got it. I'm not saying no.
Okay. So Brandon, you got to start finding some guests. Matt, you can find some guests. I'm gonna try and bring in what's his face?
I brought guests.
RFK.
I'm gonna
Have
see
you?
if I can get.
Yeah. I've had my old man in here, Tal. He's brought guests. He's brought cousins.
That's true.
I brought my kids.
That's true.
I had Janice Nupro on here.
Oh, that's right. You did.
That's pretty sweet.
What's going on with her? She's out of
she
the
actually
picture.
no, she actually texted me back the other night. She's
Okay.
really busy.
All right. All right.
I'm gonna see if I can get Eddie Petty on here.
Yeah. What about that other guy we were talking about? That's not real big yet. Not Joe Jordan. Remember that one guy I said you should email him and see if we can get him?
The confessionals, dude.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get him on here.
I'll email him.
Okay. We'll ramp this up.
Or we won't.
All right. Or we won't. I think too it'll help if we and this is kind of a brainstorming session now all of a sudden, so I don't know if it's cool to be online, but I think what'll help us is that we have a theme or a storyline.
Oh, we have another viewer. We have a viewer back.
When we jump on. It's probably me, Matt.
We can give the secrets.
So I think like we make sure that when we come on, we're ready to jump into information.
Yeah.
Instead of having like a lot of dead space where we're just kind of talking about junk. Because to be honest, when I listen to people who are just talking back and forth, sometimes I'm like bored because I'm like I just fast forward to the information I want to hear.
Yeah.
So maybe we should.
I like banter.
I know, but maybe banter in between would be good. Like if we hop on and then we banter, that might be good.
All right. I'm down to do whatever.
Okay. All right, we'll pull it together.
The worst thing you can tell me is I don't know what to do.
Because you don't know what to do either?
No, because I'll jump in and banter.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
I'll sing a song and hop on one foot.
I need a favor on our way home.
All right. I'm not getting out of the truck, but all right.
I need to stop at Dollar General.
Yeah, we can do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
You
pull
need to
you
get some True North?
right up to the door.
No, Sarah wants a little can of salsa.
Oh.
Salsa.
Maybe we should get a can of tuna. You like tuna?
I do not.
Oh, I love tuna.
I hate it.
Matter of fact.
Brian likes tuna in the can.
That's not good. But I do water, not oil.
Spring water.
Spring water.
Yeah.
And I've been eating that since I was back in the college days. I would come home. I would come home from working out, and I would get a thing of ramen noodles.
I hate tuna.
I would throw 2 cans of that in ramen noodles for protein and eat it. It was terrible. It tasted terrible, but I would eat it anyway. But
I never liked it.
all right, we're gonna get going before
Yeah, it gets dumb.
Matt falls off.
All right. You guys have a good week. We'll be back next week. And where's the closer? Boom.
I think we
Go
made it
ahead. You
closer.
finish out your thought.
Well, we got an error report.